the old man asked the female CEO to take a bite of the leftover jajang noodles he had been eating. At first the CEO was a little disgusted, but after just one bite, she found it so delicious she couldn't stop eating. Soon she was holding the bowl and eating it all. After finishing she even asked if there was a second bowl, but the old man said only half a bowl was left, because the noodles were made by Tony, and he had already gone down the mountain. The CEO immediately ordered a citywide search, but what she didn't expect was that the man who made the noodles would be her future husband. At that moment Tony was in the city holding her photo looking for her. Soon the CEO got a call from her mother, saying her fiancé had already arrived at the house. She was about to reject the marriage, but her mother hung up the phone right away. In the end she and Tony got their marriage certificate, but before Tony could be happy, she told him the marriage was just to check off a box. He wasn't allowed to tell anyone he was her husband, and he had to find a job and earn money on his own, because she still needed to find the noodle master to save her restaurant that was on the brink of closing, unaware that the man was actually Tony, and Tony was the legendary kitchen god. On his first day in the city he nearly fainted from hunger, and was even looked down on by his new wife, so Tony went to work at a restaurant to make money. Coincidentally the female CEO was also in that restaurant. When the two met, they were both shocked, but the CEO thought Tony was stalking her, and coldly told him to stop dreaming. Tony calmly reminded her to keep her voice down, saying the boss here was ruthless. If he saw employees chatting, he would dock their pay. Then he told the CEO to get to work, not knowing the restaurant actually belonged to her. At that moment the head chef noticed Tony was new, and deliberately made things difficult, saying Tony had to pass a test to work in the kitchen. He handed Tony a block of tofu, and said if he could carve it into a flower he'd pass, but Tony said tofu was too easy, so he picked up a radish instead, and within minutes carved it into a flower, then poured hot water over it, declaring it complete. The next second, hundreds of butterflies circled around the radish. The head chef lost face, but stubbornly insisted Tony should go clean the toilets. Just then, a waiter rushed in, saying a customer was complaining the food tasted terrible, and was demanding a refund, otherwise he would smash the place. The head chef got angry, and rushed out to check. It turned out to be the head chef of a 5-star restaurant, who came specifically to stir up trouble. He pulled out a plaque and challenged them to a cook-off. The loser would have to change the restaurant's name. The head chef had no choice but to accept. The CEO also came over upon hearing the commotion, wanting to see the head chef's skills, so she didn't step in. The contest officially began, and the dish was shredded pork with green pepper. In the end the man won unanimously. The head chef didn't get a single vote, and completely lost. The rival chef smugly demanded they change the sign. Just as everyone was in despair, Tony stepped up and said he could turn it around. The whole room froze. The head chef saw it was a janitor, and mocked him for embarrassing himself, telling him to go back to cleaning toilets. But Tony said he wanted to bet again. If he won, the previous wager would be null and void. The rival laughed and agreed. They decided to compete using fish as the main ingredient. Tony chose mandarin fish. He slapped the table. The fish leapt into the air. Then he swung his knife in a blur. In seconds the fish was perfectly sliced. But the other man's technique was even more stunning. He slapped the fish, and cleanly pulled out the bones through the mouth. This boneless whole fish move left everyone speechless.